Hello, welcome to Tuesday night behind enemy lines, Illinois, the armpit of America. So we have myself and Mike from Ohio. He is not quite behind enemy lines, right, Mike? You
No,
guys aren't that bad compared to us, right?
no, I'm just stuck in between Springfield where they eat the cats and dogs and Cincinnati where they moved in 10,000 people from Mauritania and Senegal.
You're not full on Marxist like we hear in Illinois, right? I don't think.
No, I'm in an okay area where I'm at, but yeah, you go north or south of here, then you're in trouble.
So, for those of you from Illinois, the last elections were devastating for us. We got crushed everywhere. The Marxists, the communists, the inclusive LGBTQ Nazis, they pretty much won everywhere. And I don't think it's because they have a better message. I think it's just the Illinois GOP sucks so badly that when you run as a candidate, you're running as an individual person. It's not even like
Yeah.
you're running with a party, right? You're just a lone wolf running without any support, any infrastructure. I'm still sick. I was in Florida last week, so I wasn't here, but I got sick in Florida, so I'm hacking again. Just like last time I was on with you, Mike. Remember?
Well, at least this time I'm not like recovering from from eye surgery, so at least I'm in normal shape tonight. I just got a little bit of a gravelly voice going on.
So we're going to talk about Illinois, the armpit of America, which it really is. We got California, got Illinois, New York, and I was raised, born, lived here my entire life, and I slowly watched it deteriorate as the left got more and more control. Right. Again, those of you know me, I was raised a Democrat. My parents were Democrats. My dad worked for the city. The whole family was Democrats. These people that are in there now are evil scumbags, man. They are Marxists. Either they're purposeful Marxists that want to destroy America, without a doubt, right? We see
Yeah.
a lot of those on the news. Or they're just like my mom's 86, right? She when I first started, transitioning to a Republican, she was upset. I even got pictures with Dick Durbin in DC with my daughter in like 2020, 2020, Jesus, 2000. And at that time, I was starting to like, okay, after Bill Clinton, depending on what is, and the cigar and all that shit, I'm like, these guys are nuts. They're not the same. My mom was upset. She would like get upset with me. Oh, they're corrupt. The dirty corporate money is influencing them. Kind of flip flop. My mom is a hardcore granny MAGA nut. You see where I get a little bit of my nutness from. Nutness.
Well,
And
y-
so, Mike, I never asked you like when you were about your politics when you were younger. What you
you know,
always
I've always been on the more conservative side, but I think that's a lot of I grew up around a military base. When I first moved out, I ended up over there in Fairborn by Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It was right after 9/11, right after I graduated high school. Um, so it was kind of different. That and like taxes. I always understood things from like a small business sense that Republicans were better for small business, reduce taxes, things like that, and a lot of the social issues. On I guess a lot of that was growing up kind of like in the late 90s and the early 2000s, seeing the corruption in the Clinton regime and everything else. But I also like wasn't like that really into stuff all the time until a little later, maybe 2005 or so. I worked on President Bush's second campaign, and then for a few years I really hated the neocons. Um,
Mhm.
but COVID's kind of what got brought my attention back, and now here I am.
I think both the Democrats and Republicans weren't really good for small business. Wouldn't you say? I think it's
Yeah, I'd
kind of
agree.
back
Yeah.
when I grew up, they were pushing out all the manufacturing, which is top of the list right now to me to China.
Yes.
And as I got older, I got in IT. All the IT is being pushed out to India, so we're moving our manufacturing and our IT jobs. So
Yeah.
what's left? Service company, right? We got to bring this stuff back. We got all these leftists whining about the tariffs and stuff. My biggest fear that I have right now is that the Republicans are soft too, and so many
Yes.
of these people are used to getting a latte per day, and they're going to have to sacrifice a little bit as we go through these troubling times, right? Until this stuff gets resolved, and people are going to start, losing courage or faith to stay strong because we became a weak country, very weak
Well,
country.
That's definitely what they're trying to exploit right now. Is nobody wants to go through any kind of hard times at all, but it is going to be necessary to make some sacrifices. But I don't think it's going to even be on like everyday items. It's going to be on a few things here and there, maybe like your avocado toast. People have to cut down on that. But even, Mexico's coming to the table. China is really the only one fighting right now. We've had over 70 countries already come to the table saying they want to reduce tariffs, and they want either free trade or less restricted trade with the U.S. They're correcting trade imbalances. And this is going to bring down prices of goods here in the U.S. too, from cars to food items. I don't think people realize that over 150 countries had tariffs on the United States, or they wouldn't allow us to ship in certain goods, like Japan. Only luxury cars, basically Cadillacs, are about the only U.S. cars that let them sell within Japan. Everything else got stopped at the ports. That changes though, and now that'll also reduce prices on cars manufactured in the U.S. because they're going to be selling more in other markets. Australia is another good example. They restricted U.S. Meat, primarily beef, importations, while selling us, I think it was $39 billion worth of beef over the last several decades. But all these pathways being opened back up right now by these tariffs, yeah, we might have some short-term pain, but long-term, this is going to generate huge amounts of business for the U.S. We have over $5 trillion in new manufacturing jobs, new investment for that coming to the United States. So things are going to turn around quickly, but that's also why I don't be surprised when you see the left try to sabotage as much of this as they possibly can. And yeah, you're right. We've seen some spineless Republicans already put forward legislation too to try to restrict how Trump can use tariffs to negotiate. But it's not going to pass the House or the Senate. So at least that's the good news.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't live in Illinois, if you might ask, why is Illinois the armpit of America? Well, there's many reasons. Like first and foremost, we've been ran by Democrats for 75 years. Everything they touch turns to shit, right? Everything. Yeah. So, we've been, controlled by the Democrats, and it's gotten really worse since B.J. Pritzker got in office. And then the last elections we lost, we got decimated big time. Our leadership needs to move on. About the porn, the drag queens, that's the school stuff. The taxes sucks. Unfunded liabilities. We can't pay our pensions. I mean, there's so many things that, businesses are leaving like crazy. We've got the flood of illegal Venezuelans, which, of all the places in the country, we are really bad. And people don't know how bad it is because we're not as covered as much as New York is and some of the other places. So the media here does a pretty good job of kind of hiding it. So some of the things we're going to talk about today is some new FOIA information that I got. Excuse me. I'm hearing myself. Can you hear me?
Are you?
Okay. I can't. Mike, I can't read what you got there because I'm looking up the screen over there. But so in short, I submitted some new FOIAs and got some pretty interesting information. So Mayor Brandon Johnson, he's lied about so many things, right? So as of 2025, there was 27 shelters throughout the city of Chicago, right? Full of Venezuelans. Some of them had over 2,000 per location in hotels. And then he tried to act like he cares about the homeless. And if you watch our show regularly, you'll see me interviewing these, African-American homeless encampments, another encampment, all mixed races of homeless people living in shambles and mud, and just feces. It's disgusting, right? And so we were pushing that out there. And then they tried to clean it up before the DNC. It got exposed. So now what Pritzker and Johnson are trying to do is they're trying to hide the fact that they're going to call it the One System Initiative. That's the integrated homeless shelter system, right? They're pretending it's for homeless people. In reality, it's not for homeless people. It's for the Venezuelans. And so we got FOIAs that are already starting to expose it. Mike's going to go through, scroll some of this stuff. But real quick before we get to them, I got one FOIA, one of the politicians. And Mike, you're going to have to read that because I'm so far. We'll go up as you pull it up. I'll pull. We start out.
Start out page you want, and I'll just get that up on the screen.
Yes, start out at number page 41.
All right, that's what's on screen now.
Okay, so it's this is a big sham, right? What they're trying to do is pretend they're doing this for the homeless. They're still bringing illegal immigrants in. non-U.S. citizens or whatever name they decide to call them by the day. They keep changing their names. And they're trying to help these people find jobs too. So this should offend the minorities, the union people in Chicago. So they have all these new locations. Some of them are the old locations that they're converting. And they have within a half a mile radius of each location. I guess we're showing you right now, right? These are businesses. These are businesses. So people that live in these different areas in Chicago, they're going to be out campaigning and canvassing to give these illegal people jobs in your backyard. Union members, Democrats, union guys. These are names and phone numbers. It's redacted, right? Of all the businesses that are around. They got for every single shelter. So the NGOs, the city of Chicago, these people are going to help these illegals try to find ways to get employed as you're housing them to take away your own jobs. Look at this stuff. This goes on.
This is crazy. Look at some of these companies too. It's got Lexus dealerships, United Container Corporation. They're big. Atomic Imaging. It's going to go in for X-rays. Don't go there. Bunch of Shell gas stations. Goose Island Beer Company. I'm just going to hit the big ones. Drinks on Me Catering. I guess they're going to go hire a bunch of illegals. Acura. McGrath Acura of downtown North Chicago.
Car wash. Cars.
Jesus. We got what is that? Who knows what that is? The Salt Shed, Umbrella Vintage LLC. Let's pull some big ones here. We the People Fitness Studio. Jesus. Yeah, a bunch of car washes. Chicago Iron Works. Rainbow Art. That sounds like a fun place to visit. Windy City Contracting. Yeah, I mean, these are all over the map. It's all kinds of businesses.
People from Chicago, especially the minority areas where they're pushing a lot of this stuff out. Not all, but most, right?
Yeah.
So our tax dollars, the state, city, so you got a lot of these liberal slugs. Oh, you don't live in the city. Listen, your cancer spread all over the state. Matter of fact, your cancer spread all over America. And Trump is the radiation. So you're affecting all of us, right? And we're funding these illegals to come up here, in some cases gang members and try to Lauber to come up here, and then we're housing them, we're educating them. They're not even educating them. I mean, the CPS can't even educate the English-speaking kids, let alone ones that don't speak English. So they're not even educated. They're just getting money for them to sit their class. Excuse me.
Well, they're stealing money from all you guys in Illinois to pay it, since all the funds federally are being cut off.
Now people are being paid with our tax dollars to call these companies, reach out to them to try to help them find jobs and use the community network, as it says in some of these emails. That's what they're doing.
Good Lord.
I see that. Folks say this is replacement theory. It is. They're replacing you guys right here.
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, a lot of these are going to be your manufacturing, your warehouses, and then it's a combination of like construction, gas stations. I mean, it's all over the place, but these are a lot of your big employers in the area, and a lot of this is entry-level stuff. So this is taking jobs away from people just entering the job market, from people that need like a part-time position on the weekends. I mean, dude, I didn't realize it was this bad. I'm going through this list, and I'm at over 400 companies right now, and I'm still scrolling.
Yeah, somebody was paid to put that list together too, by the way, right? With tax dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to use that to go canvassing and stuff, right? Just because those names are on there, just to be clear, it doesn't mean they're going to hire illegals. Right? Very clear. Doesn't mean it. They're on a target list to canvass for these illegals. They're trying to say it's for homeless. So the Democrats, you're full of shit, man. It's for illegal. We'll show you more evidence, right? So don't take my word for it or Mike's. All right. So let me see what else.
they're trying to mask what they're doing is exactly what this is. They're lumping the homeless people in with the illegal aliens, the invaders. Then they're putting this together like it's what was it called, like 611, the outreach for people that are having like hard times or on the streets. So that's basically what this is like a 611 list of prospect employers, but they're not worried about the American homeless. They're worried about getting the Venezuelans and everybody else to work.
Yeah, and taking away jobs. So go to page number 102. So I got my little scratch notes here. RFPs for hotels, non-contract hotels. So what do we got there? So what you need to look out, there's an alderman, Newsome, and state rep Kelly. They're talking about Grompers Park. And this petition is sent in the city of Chicago. There's like $290 million that was given. And this alderman, like I wrote it down here, it feels like none of the longtime Chicago homeless are getting access to these funds and services. You know what that's code for? Illegals.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see that in there, Mike? Go ahead. And, there's things I wanted to read. There's RFP coming out for different hotels. They're going to St. Bart's. Any of you in Chicago, city of Chicago, northwest suburb or northwest side, St. Bart's is on their target list to convert into an illegal immigrant shelter. I'm sorry, old man's dying here.
Well, don't do that. But I just found the section you're talking about. Both Nugent and Rep Kelly are pressing me on why it feels like none of the $290 million in state funds are supporting our far northwest side, longtime Chicagoan homeless. I'll take that inquiry out of this email thread. They're trying to...
That's real important. That last sentence you said there, right, Mike? Go ahead, repeat that.
Yeah. I'll take this inquiry out of this email thread. So yeah, she didn't even want it talked about, and then it got picked up in your FOIA. I guess you forgot to go back and delete it.
Yeah. So that's in the FOIA, guys. Why? Why do you want to take this offline? Because they're giving the money to the legals. This is breaking news right here, right? Johnson's so full of shit.
Dude, it gets worse.
Yeah.
She's got two more sentences down here. She wants to talk with. I hope to talk with some of you outside of this email to get more clarity on pace and operationalization of OSL. So basically, she's saying she wants to carry this conversation offline, so there's no records of it.
Yeah, OSI stands for One System Initiative. That's their bullshit term for it's supposed to be homeless, but it's not. And another, I don't know if it's in the set of emails I gave you, Mike. I don't think it is. I got a bunch of them when I was off on spring break. There's another one. So Mayor Brandon Johnson is no longer going to count the illegals that are coming into Chicago. They're stopping counting them. They're stopping it.
Well, you'll be pleased to know this lady also has her pronouns in her bio, so go figure.
Right. And so it looks like the Catholic Church is probably going to make some cash by renting out their church to the illegals, just like they've been doing with everything Catholic charities, right?
Yep. I know they just lost a lawsuit with the federal government. They were trying to get their funding back that Doge cut, but that one went our way.
Let's see. I got page 105.
Yep, I just pulled that up.
Long-term homeless. There you go. Can you read that, Mike? Again, I can't see it. The screen's over there. We're having technical.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Shelter access on the far northwest side. To access shelter, one must call 311. Oh, shit, it was 311, not 611. And wait at a local park, police station, etc., to be picked up for an in-person assessment. There are not enough shelters in Chicago for our longtime homeless, and none on the far northwest side. Current example wait times are blah blah blah. Yeah, again, this seems like it's targeted for illegal aliens that they're ignoring the longtime Chicago homeless.
Yeah. So keep in mind, there's $290 million from the state. We don't know what the NGOs have and what they're doing with their crazy money and stuff in the city of Chicago. But a Democrat said, hey, of this $290 million, none of it's going to our long-term homeless, which is Chicago homeless people, right? Yeah. That's her saying, let's take this offline because they don't want me to see it.
Yeah. Well, I just went down to your next page. I'm at 111 right now. So it looks like out of this money, they just spent $40 million to expand the unhoused shelter networks by 6,800 beds under the One System Initiative $29 million to move families into stable housing through rapid rehousing program, and green social housing was just funded with $1.25 billion for housing and economic development. And again, this is all targeted at the illegal aliens. They're not coming out and saying it directly, but
they're lying.
Yeah, well, when you talk to the other guys that were under the bridge, the poor homeless guys under there before, they talked about getting pulled off this rapid housing program, kicked out of line so the illegals could take their spots.
They're waiting years, they said. Years.
Yeah, the one couple was 4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so you got that one. Next one. Excuse me, folks. Page 125. SPARK stands for Shelter Replacement Resource Center. Page 125. There should be a flyer there. Okay. Oh yeah. So again, I'm blind. I can't see that far. But Mike will go through this graph here. You'll see the difference. These are like the emergency shelters, like bedding for emergency shelters. Look how it goes up after the legal immigrants start coming in. You guys can see that, right?
Yeah. Basically, it spikes up from overnight client stays at averaging 15 to around 200, and it basically just sits there. So they're this way I read this is they're maxed out every night now.
Yeah. Which means it's full of illegals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they had 15 before they got here.
Well,
right?
Yeah. So now all of a sudden they're at capacity, and it's not like Chicago just imported 6 million Americans.
Yeah. This is their information. It's not ours. It's not the right-wing media.
Oh, exactly.
This is the next one is a very interesting one.
All right, I got that pulled up now.
And this is the Response Network. The People's Response Network is a radical leftist NGO that teaches illegal criminals how to evade Tom Homan and ICE. And I forgot to send you the information as you dig that deeper on that. I forgot to send it to you before, Mike. So if you go through and read this email where these people were going to these different shelters, right? Inspecting them.
Yeah.
And they said that the shelters were so bad that they didn't meet city and international. What to me is, so first of all, I don't give a shit if they don't meet their city standards for illegals.
Yeah.
But what got attention, international standards? Does that mean UN standards? I mean, we're America, right? Why are we worried about international standards? Go ahead, read that, Mike.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me scroll back up here real quick. Thank you, Eugenia, for the information. Less than 1 year ago, in January 2024, Dr. Barbara Norman, former CDPH Deputy Commissioner, Dr. Howard Ehrman, former blah, 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 Assistant Commissioner, and Lynette Sims, People's Response Network Chairwoman, spent 3 hours inside what is now the Spark shelter with former DFSS Commissioner and her 9 executive staff members at the invitation of the 25th Ward Alderman, Byron Sigcho Lopez. We were utterly appalled at the conditions in the many multiple.
Read that again. It's the most important part. And say appalled.
Yeah, exactly. We were all utterly appalled at the conditions and the many and multiple violations of both existing City of Chicago codes and the laws and that of U.S. and international agency shelter guidelines. So yeah, they're probably the UN. Let's see if it says it down here. World Health Organization guidelines.
Oh, that's really? WHO. There we go. I didn't see that.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm reading through all this right now. But yeah, they're saying American Red Cross, FEMA, and World Health Organization guidelines, that's what they're in violation of, not to mention the city codes, blah, blah, blah. They got to
go on to talk about RFP, I think, of that one, right? Or is it a different one?
Talk about what, sorry?
Did they talk about RFP for the hotels coming up?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I thought it might be a different one. I have a hotel RFPs.
Yeah, it might be a different one because here it looks like they're just talking mostly about the violations. And, we got to put our best foot forward for Tren de Agua.
Yeah. The next one, page 129. I got trains, automobiles. kind of a joke.
Yep, here we go.
Okay. I'm going to read off to you how many busloads, right? How many busloads and airplanes that were flying in. I think they talk about some of the charter planes. What's real important about this, these number of busloads that came into Chicago, if for those of you who saw Brandon Johnson, that little hobbit, lie his ass off in front of Congress, right?
Yes.
When he kept trying to blame Abbott. Oh, and Governor Abbott kept sending these buses. Governor Abbott, remember that? He said it like 6 times.
Yes.
Well, Governor Abbott did not send all these buses here and trains. He only sent a small portion of them. The NGOs did, Catholic Charities did. And how did I know that early on? The first, I firmly believe it was from Governor Abbott when he first started like fighting back, right? The first busload that dropped off in my community was a bunch of Venezuelans by themselves, right? But the next busload had two guys with them that were very confrontational and very protective of the illegals. Now, Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott wouldn't give a shit if a reporter was talking to these illegals, right? You don't care. He wants them out of the state. So these guys will run around. Don't talk to him. Reporter bad. These handlers. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. So these were the NGOs, and I have other emails about them coordinating with NGOs. I even got one where they're talking about a Chinese orphan kid. They met him at an airplane. So this is all coordinated. They knew ahead of time who was coming through the NGOs, not always through Governor Abbott. So Brandon Johnson lied his ass off. So read off some of the numbers there for the numbers of busloads and stuff that came into Chicago and trains or planes or whatever.
This particular email I don't think has those numbers, but it looks like it has that they were now facing a 4,000 bed gap at some of the shelters, that they're 67 to 85% of people requesting shelter are now being turned away based on current estimates. The past week offered an unfortunate reminder of the status quo in homeless service management. It's basically
139? 139.
129.
139, but a 130.
All right, 1 second. 139, enter. All right, let me scroll down. Okay, here we go. New arrival numbers. Chicago's received an estimated 51,649 new arrivals since the mission began. These include 46,439 individuals arriving at Chicago's landing zone, 5,210 who have arrived on daily flights to O'Hare since mid-June 2023.
You hear that? Daily flights. NGO daily flights that are crossing the border. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Bus numbers will be updated once a week. 649 buses have been reported in Chicagoland area since August 31st, 2022, including 602 buses that arrived at Chicago's landing zone. 344 buses and 2 planes have been accounted for or reported new arrivals off in the Chicagoland area since November 18th. 836 buses have arrived since January 1st. 825 have arrived since May 12th, 2023. And 0 buses are expected to drop off the Chicagoland area in December.
Yeah, it's after Trump won. And what's funny is when Tom Holm was in Chicago, if you saw our story at Gateway Pundit, I had with Holman over there at the hotel, at the Hilton Hotel. And then we went across the street. They were still set up there at the O'Hare Airport Intake Center. I was kind of shocked. This was after Trump won. They're not there anymore. I was just there.
Well, that's good. At least that's one improvement.
Let's see. Let's go to page 220. So we have a chief homeless officer.
Oh,
I have C.L. Soto. Right, got her pronouns in there.
Probably. Her pronouns are Ella, she, and her. And I can click a link to learn more about pronouns. What the hell kind of pronoun is Ella?
Might be her pet cow or something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know if the hyperlinks work or not. Do they? Yeah.
No, they don't.
So then you can go to page 237 and 238. They keep asking, what are the funding restrictions? What are the funding restrictions? To me, I'm not familiar with this governmental spending, but to me, that means like, hey, how much loosely coupled funds can we get our hands on? Right?
Exactly.
What are the funding restrictions? Wanting to know. Maybe they say they want to talk about it offline again. I think in this email, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I hope to talk to you some of you outside of this email to get more clarity on pace with operationalization of OSI. It looks like a standard thing they must include. It's lawyers speak legalese for. I want to figure the rest of this out off the record, so we can kick back money
out of FOIA, away from FOIA requests. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's exactly what it is.
Oh yeah, and then it's sorry we didn't take notes on that conversation. I don't remember what
funding
happened.
restrictions. Oh, this should be an easy one, and quotes I put in there. There must be some statement that she said this is an easy one. And then that's when they go into the RFPs about non-congregate hotel shelters, which is great. As I put down here in my notes. You see that on page maybe 238?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now.
They talk about concerns for new arrivals.
Oh yeah, here we go.
The homeless, which are not getting any of this shit.
Yeah, let me just read through this here real quick.
Hey there, Mike?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to read through this here real quick so I can find the section you're talking about.
Are we froze?
Son
of a bitch.
I'm not. Can you hear me? Yeah, let me let him know. Not froze. All right, let me put him on full screen. Maybe that'll. Huh.
Hey, you're coming through just fine.
Oh, it's froze on my end. You can hear me?
Yep, and the audience can too. Everything's still going out just fine.
All right, I'll keep going. It's frozen on my end. Okay, I'll keep going. Sorry, Bubba. All right. You can hear me, Mike, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Shit. I can't hear you, Mike.
Ha! Oh, man, I can hear you. Technology problems,
all right,
guys.
Mike, why don't you pick it up? I might have to reboot my computer, man. All right?
All right, let me see what we got.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. But I guess Terry will join us back here in a minute. In the meantime, I guess I'm going to shift gears because he knows a lot more about the FOIAs and what's in these requests. I just have page number notes, and as you guys are seeing, I'm just reading through these right now for the first time myself. But let me set up for the other topics that we had to go for tonight. So sorry, guys. This is how it works when things don't go as planned. So we're going to start here. We're going to talk about some of these court cases. And then as hopefully Terry jumps back in here in a minute. But President Trump's had two huge victories. The Supreme Court's finally stepping it up and starting to at least pretend to do their job. And of course, the left is apoplectic. So first good news we had was this morning. Supreme Court rules against Boasberg, allowing Trump to deport migrants under Alien Enemies Act. Now, I know the left is focusing on, yeah, but we have to give them hearings in their district that was signed in Texas. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're just going to keep putting them on the planes, shipping them to El Salvador, and they can deal with the prison down there. Again, it looks like Terry's back with us here. We'll find out here in a second if you can hear me now, hopefully.
I'm back.
But awesome.
Good.
Yeah, this is huge. All right, let's jump back into the FOIAs, then we'll get back into this here in a minute, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. Okay.
Gremlins or a curse, one or the other.
There's Democrats in this.
Yeah. They're screwing with your signal. All right.
So we were talking funding restrictions, right? So they were very, very worried. They wanted to take that offline and talk about it. So that's code for going around FOIA, so we don't have access. So funding restrictions means to me, hey, what loose rules can we bend to give our friends money? That's what that means. Otherwise,
100%.
right? And then I got page 280. I'm not really sure I understand. There's a $7 million that was I put my notes here, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like, let me read through this real fast. My goal is to ensure that work progresses effectively for both offices, particularly as we continue to advance it's the $7 million for their 5-year plan.
Oh yeah, the homeless plan he has is 5 years, which I wonder what that's going to cost. And I wonder what that means. It's a 5-year homeless plan.
Well, I'm sure the $7 million will cover the first month or so. Then after that, they're just going to have to. Didn't they just try to nail you guys in some sort of a flexible tax thing, Chicago, or is that just California, where they can like move your taxes up without having a vote on it now?
I hope it's California.
I think it might be you guys. I'll double check. But
go to page 304. I got to turn that monitor too because it turned it when I was trying to play with the computer. Page 304. You can read the mayor's press release. You try to pull up the shit in this press release.
All right. Mayor Brandon Johnson announces equitable transition to a one system initiative. Changes to new arrivals shelter system will merge services with the state of Illinois in 2025 for unified shelter system as current process for sheltering asylum seekers ends December 31st, 2024. Chicago, the city of Chicago is implementing a series of changes to consolidate new arrivals shelter system, accelerate the resettlement of current shelter residents, and move toward the One System Initiative, OSI, a unified sheltering system to serve all Chicagoans. The current arrival, I swear they just said this exact same thing in a different order in that second paragraph. The transition from the current system policies will begin October 21st, 2024 through the end of the calendar year. They'll be adding 1,300 beds to the 3,000 legacy DFS beds, serving the homeless system in collaboration with the state of Illinois partners and advocates. Oh man, who writes this nonsense gobbledygook? Bunch of commies.
They never use the word Chicagoans. That's bullshit. They're not for Chicagoans. They're for Venezuela.
Well, yeah, we continue the dedicated work with our agencies and our community partners as we have from the beginning to usher in the next phase. The phase will demobilize the new arrival operation by the end of 2024 and initiate the first phase of the full transition to the One System Initiative in 2025. We are shifting to a more cost-effective, equitable, and strategic approach that addresses homelessness for all who need the support of the city of Chicago.
Trent Larva in Venezuela. Well, but Trent Larva guys, they got drug.
Yeah, well, they like being in the projects too, because then they're close to their customer base. Yeah. You got to set up your little trap house.
So hopefully you guys are able to read into that bullshit, right? Chicagoans. This is all scam. It's a lie. It's for illegal immigrants. He didn't care about the homeless. He never cared about them. You saw in my past shows how they're living like shit in these tents and mud.
Yeah.
Houses and just they get biscuits, people drop off or churches go by. They didn't give a shit about them. So now all of a sudden he cares about the homeless, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Well, it looks like they're limiting first-time shelter placement at the landing zone to newer. Oh, they're limiting it to only new arrivals. So they're ignoring the local homeless. It's just people that just got in the country for 30 days or less. That's what their focus is going to be.
Well, I will. You guys stay tuned because I will be visiting some. I got all the addresses. I'm not putting them out there. I don't want to share them with some of my competitors. But I will be visiting them, just like I did the other ones. I'm going to be trying to get in them, and we will do another show. I got some more FOIAs. Or guess whose email showed up in the FOIAs, Mike?
Oh, could it be yours? Could it be yours?
Yeah. I sent them one of my Terry emails, and they spread it around.
Well, of course they did. I'm sure that was just an accident. It's not like they were trying to dox you and get your information out there. I mean, why would they sink so low?
They're like, matter of fact, I'm going to do a FOIA on me. On my name.
You should.
That came up on accident. I'm like reading. I'm like, holy shit, that's me.
Well, yeah, but then you can also find out who's talking about you. Are the emails going back and forth with your name in them? And what are they plotting against you? What their plan is? So anything that's not classified, and I imagine nothing with your name on it there in the city level should be classified. So
I think they're planning to have radical leftist extremists call me a Nazi and a white supremacist and an anti-gay guy.
Well, I'm sure they probably already started that. You probably got, so they're probably looking for you over the weekend at their little
Yeah.
their
Oh my
little rallies there.
What a great transition. I'm so upset that I was gone for I was gone for spring break because we had, just like the rest of the country, we had fight fascism. Actually, that's what they were calling it, the Wheaton event they held. Excuse me, they held in my Downers Grove library. So I don't live in Downers Grove. I got all my Downers Grove enemies, scumbag, extreme leftists, and LGBTQ Nazis watching right now. I don't live in Downers Grove. My children go to Downers Grove South High School. My children go to that library. I'm a Downers Grove Township Republican committeeman. I'm the president of Parents Involved in Education for Illinois. So I deserve to have comments, in my opinion, about you scumbags ruining our kids. So anyway, in the library of Downers Grove, they had the Democratic Socialists of America host a sign-making event last Tuesday before the event. And I forgot to send that stuff to you, Mike. I apologize. And
you're fine.
they defend that. They defend that.
Well, yeah, and again, they use these public utilities, these services, libraries, or whatever else, to advance their political agenda. But the minute somebody from the other side, be it Proud Boys, President Trump, or even just a right-leaning church group, wants to have a meeting or even a barbecue or a picnic on public grounds, they're going to go out of their way to try to find ways to not give them the ability to hold their meeting in public on public property. I just listened to a thing about this yesterday with Rumble wanting to hold an event. I think it was in Canada, but same thing. The contract was cleared. When they found out it was going to be Rumble there, they went through the lease with a fine-tooth comb trying to find something they could use to kick them out. Instead, what they did is give them a bill for, I think it was $40,000 in extra security. Luckily, like, they've got deep enough pockets to pay that. But if they're a smaller group, even like all the organizational work that you've done up there, you can't afford an extra $40,000 because they say that, oh well, there's a lot of maniacs out there that are going to protest. So you guys need extra security. That's just a way to shut you down so you can't have an event.
Yeah. So some of these pictures, I think we have a video too. Do you have the video, right, Mike?
I don't have the video. I just have all the pictures from Facebook.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, no, sorry. I do have some videos. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long day.
They're all from the Chicagoland area. Geneva, St. Charles, I think, maybe Wheaton. So I pulled them from my buddy Mike's Facebook page, his MAGA page, and Shane. Those guys run great events. They get a lot of people to show up to support Trump and Elon Musk. So I pulled a couple videos I shared with my buddy Mike here.
Nice.
Show you how people are. And as he's pulling that up, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a Tesla event. These people were very confrontational. The inclusive people, they're nuts. I mean, they're just fucking whacked out.
Yeah.
And I had on my way out there, I was told that there was this older vet in a Marine hat that was starting fights with people. And then when I got out there, another guy said, "Hey, this guy spit in my face." I goes, "He that Marine guy?" He said, "Yeah." And I went up to him and I said, "Hey, whose side are you on?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, pal." And then he got in my face, and it didn't. I can't even show this to you because the left will use it against me. Let's put it this way: the guy's lip was quivering like he was in the ice box.
Oh, I bet.
And well, I wish I was here this week because there was a lot of aggressive people getting in the face of some of our folks, and maybe it's just I don't care because I know we're in a war. That shit wouldn't happen.
I got some of the pictures. I got some of the pictures pulled up. Yeah, I'm having issues with the video. It's weird format. But here they are telling you to ditch your Nazi mobile. Whoops.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, hang on. Let me go back to the top. There we go. What the hell's going on here? And then agitators from the Lyle, or is that?
Yeah, Lyle.
Protest. God damn, my mouse is going crazy. From what I witnessed, these folks like to get in your face and trying to provoke you. Do not take the bait.
I take the
Trump
bait.
Trump, I'm still trying to figure out what his sign says. It says Trump Musk did Nazi, us coming. And the guy's wearing a middle finger mask on his face. That's creative.
Did not see us coming. Not see us coming.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So this was interesting. Donald Trump posted about Illinois. So we have, for those of you who watch regularly, we have that goofy whack job sheriff Mendick. Mendrick, but I call him Mendick. A fucking dick. He's running for governor, and the guy's like a clown. So he's like the village idiot drunk. So anyway, Donald Trump with this. There's a couple of good guys that are probably running for governor, and Mendick be in the dust. But read this about what Trump said about Illinois.
Sloppy J.B. Pritzker, the rotund governor from the once great state of Illinois, who makes Chris Christie look like a male model and whose family wanted him out of the business because he was so pathetic at helping them run it, has presided over the destruction and disintegration of Illinois at levels never seen before in any state. Crime is rampant, and people are sadly fleeing Illinois. Unless a change is made at the governor's level, Illinois can never be great again. And he's not wrong.
Yes. So if we ever had a chance, it's now. So for those of you who are worried that you're from Illinois, you see Mendick out there running, that guy's just a sideshow. Don't worry about it. We got good people that are going to be running soon. They're going to announce. And I think we have a chance. We just have to stand up. We got to get better turnouts than we did last week. Oh my God, you guys were embarrassment.
Well, that's been one problem, unfortunately. I think a lot of Republicans went back to sleep. Like, there's no reason we should have lost that other race in Pennsylvania. It was in a Trump district Trump won at 70%. But like the GOP is failing at the local and state level in a lot of states. I think that's also what just happened in Minnesota. Is, you know, if we can get the other ballot initiative across the finish line, I don't understand how we lost the judges race, other than there was like zero effort from the state party to get voters out. You look at how far turnouts fall. So we can't have that same thing happen in Illinois or any other states. We got to start making sure we're active in time and people are getting out in the polls and casting their ballot, especially right now. This really matters leading up to the next midterm elections in 2026.
Yeah, they talk, Illinois, vote by mail. They get us by vote by mail. Yes, vote by mail is important. Yes, we got to put an emphasis on it. But you know what? Before you even worry about vote by mail, you got to give people a reason to fucking vote in the first place. If they're not even taking 3 minutes to fill out a little envelope and send it, that means because you suck. They don't even want to take the time to fill out a ballot at home on their sofa, watching Fox News, eating a pizza.
Exactly.
And so, because you don't give them a reason to vote. So first of all, you got to give them a reason to vote. It doesn't matter if it's in person or vote by mail. Until you give them a reason, you can't elect guys like John Curran that get paid off by the unions, and he doesn't say anything about porn and transvestites. People are like, what the hell? Why are you Republican? You got to give them a reason to vote, and then maybe they're going to take the 3 minutes to vote by mail. But don't go and push out, vote by mail, vote by mail. Man, the bigger problem is that the RNC doesn't help us here. The GOP sucks. At the local, I said that in the beginning of the show, Mike, right?
Yeah.
Paul, an independent person out there running by himself against the Democratic machine, congressman, senator, and some of these local Democrats. First time running. Paul did really well. He did really well. He got crushed, but not because of his message, because the GOP sucks in Illinois. All of you suck.
Well, that's the problem in a lot of states, especially states like Illinois, is they have no courage. And the minute you have somebody like Paul that is actually going to point out the obvious, take a stand and do something about it, they get scared. They back away. They want a more moderate candidate. But moderates aren't who's winning. That's not who's popular. President Trump is not somebody that's going to keep his mouth shut about stuff and play the game and play nice with the uniparty. Same with, like, look who's popular in Congress. It isn't the people that fall in line and do what the uniparty wants. It's the people that actually take a stand and tell the truth. And, it's your Marjorie Taylor Greens, your Byron Donalds. It's people like that are fighters. I know Matt Gaetz is out now, but it's people like him, people that have spirit. If you start getting more people like that in Illinois, you will inspire people to come out to the polls. A moderate will not.
Yeah. So, for instance, Paul, there was 3 seats, 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. The 2 soft Republicans, which means they would refuse to speak out against porn and all the pussy Republicans, and then Paul, who speaks the truth. So the mayor of Downers Grove, who used to be a Republican, he's a leftist piece of shit. I know you guys are all watching. He is. He supported the 2 soft ones, the 2 soft R's. Didn't endorse Paul because Paul wasn't going to be controlled by him. Paul wasn't going to let him, sit there and be silent and say we got porn and transvestites and drag queens. Trenda Largua being dropped off at the train station, Mary, even though you're lying. Oh, there's no crime. We've got these Venezuelans all over the place breaking into homes and stuff. Just last weekend, my God, I didn't send you this. 20 commercial robberies in Downers Grove.
Holy shit.
20. It was organized. I'm not saying it's immigrants. Doesn't matter, right? 20 organized, coordinated burglaries, commercial in Downers Grove, Mayor. So just 2 weeks ago, you said Paul was fear-mongering. You're such a weak piece of shit, man. You need to speak up and defend the children of Downers Grove, the people, and call out what's wrong and right, and speak up when something's right. It's wrong to have like dancing around with the kids. It's wrong to read gay books to 2-year-old babies. It's wrong to say that these are just innocent travelers being dropped off in the Downers Grove train station when we have evidence of the first ones in the country. It's Trenda Largua in 2023 in December. That one picture I sent you saw a million times, Mike. It's Trenda Largua. We got it before anybody in New York. And you're trying to tell the citizens, oh, they're just innocent travelers. You're a liar, man. Everything Paul said right.
Well, yeah, and everybody's seen the uptick in crime, and some of this might have spread beyond just the illegal alien invaders now, because when the city's lawless and you have more and more people doing smash and grab robberies, or what do they call it now, where you organize online, you have a flash mob and you rob a store blind. Now, a lot of these probably are organized by TDA to begin with, but then others are going to join in because it's open season. If law enforcement isn't doing anything about it, if people are just being caught and released, or they're not even trying to catch them, then of course it's just going to cause a downward spiral. More and more people are going to join and do the same thing because they know there's no consequences.
Yeah, it's a lot of the South Side minorities are going into the Chicago area, downtown, Magnificent Mile, Streeterville, and they're just going and doing all those things that you just said there. And Brandon Johnson doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, again, you guys need somebody in Chicago that'll look out for the people there locally. And until that happens, until the people get mad enough that they're willing to try somebody like Paul, put other people in that will reform things at the city and will crack down on this stuff, expect it to get worse, not better.
Yeah. So, yes, I'm disappointed. Frustrated. I'm angry, but I'm not going to stop fighting these scumbags because we're fighting for our kids' future, all of our kids, our future kids, our grandchildren, America, everybody that died fighting for this country. If you're a Democrat now, man, you're my enemy. You're an enemy of my children. You're an enemy of America. You're my enemy. You're trying to destroy this country. You're trying to destroy my kids' futures. And I'm going to do everything I can to disrupt your ass, especially here in Illinois, until the day I die. Until the day I die. And I'm old.
Well, luckily, I think you got a few decades left to fight in you, so.
Well, I think we're good now, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to touch on some of these other stories with the courts real quick.
Go ahead.
We can just pull the headlines. This is what I was talking about while you were before you pop back on. But the Supreme Court today finally decided to step up and do something about 2 different major cases, and this is going to send shockwaves to the rest of these 170 illegitimate lawsuits against the Trump regime. So Supreme Court rules against Boasberg, allowing Trump to deport illegal aliens under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So this is huge. This is what they were using. These insane judges that were demanding Trump fly MS-13 members and Trenda Largua back to the U.S. so they can have their day in court. Well, the Supreme Court said that the Enemy Aliens Act is still into effect. Trump can use that for deportations. And that's fine. And any of these guys that are affiliated with gangs that are now on the terror watch list, we can just throw them right out of the country now. Same with others put on some of these lists for different designations or from certain countries, terrorist states. So this is huge. The other big one is Supreme Court says yes, allows Trump administration to fire 16,000 probationary federal employees. Says the other game they've been playing is getting in his hiring and firing decisions for the executive branch. Well, now we finally have a decision from the Supreme Court that's telling these lower court judges, these district level judges, that they don't have authority to interfere with the affairs of the executive branch. So now they have grounds that they can use with these other cases to get them tossed too, and then we can finally see some progress. And we got a few other stories too. Boasberg may be facing some criminal charges. He might have tipped off Venezuelan gang members in their deportation case. They're also starting to ask questions too. What's that?
No way. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
No, I said, are you kidding me? The judge.
No. Yeah, so they're looking into that now, and DOJ is also looking into whether or not he's being assigned all these cases intentionally, because it's supposed to be random. So this is
Right.
Senator Schmidt. Yeah, he's the one that's looking into this. I guess he already has tips, inside information regarding Boasberg apparently assigning himself all the cases that he wanted against Trump.
Is he the senior judge or like who? I don't know the process. Who assigned who?
He's the senior judge for the district court in D.C. So the allegation is he's cherry picking these cases, and he's the one handing them just to Trump hating, Trump derangement suffering judges in the district court in D.C. because these cases aren't going to fly anywhere else.
See, that process should be transparent, big time.
Yeah,
big time. Right? That'll cut a lot of this judge shopping down, big time.
Well, yeah, and then we know that's exactly what's going on, because out of these 170 cases, some of these at least should have gone to friendly judges for Trump and just been dismissed outright, because most of these cases are insane. And I've said this a bunch of times on other programs, like the only one of these 170 lawsuits I understand is like the $2 billion for services supposedly already rendered. So, like it or not, if the deal was made while Biden was in office, they delivered whatever they agreed on, we still got to pay the bill. I don't like it any more than you do, but the companies are owed their money. The rest of these suits are all illegitimate as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. What a waste of time, effort, money.
Well, we got more coming out too. I'll go ahead and pull this up here real quick too. And this is, again, we can thank Doge for pulling this. Doge official unveils shocking fallout from Biden's mass immigration. Millions of migrants on state Medicaid programs. Thousands now on voter rolls and voting. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to dig in deeper on this. But the minute this was uncovered, we had this. 19 state attorney generals sue Trump admin to stop election integrity executive order and allow illegal aliens to vote. Arizona's Democrat. What's that? Yeah. Well, they can't. They brought all these illegals in.
They're not even hiding.
No, they're not even hiding it. They brought all these illegals in for a reason, to do a job that Americans just won't do anymore. Vote for Democrats. But I'm sure in Chicago, I'm sure you guys have, hundreds of thousands to millions of these in there, and the numbers aren't all the way out. There's supposed to be a big announcement from Doge by the end of the week, and I don't know if it's going to be related to the illegal aliens voting or to money laundering through Social Security, but apparently there's going to be some congressional arrests that can tie people directly to some of this illicit activity that's gone on for the last 4 to 40 years.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, you want a big shakeup in D.C., lock up a couple Congress people and show that they've been writing them some self-checks through Social Security or otherwise violating the law.
Yeah. I'd love to see Pritzker in Statesville.
They're going to have to make him a special jail cell so he can get in the door.
Yeah.
At least he'll lose some weight while he's in there, maybe cut down on his diabetes.
Yeah. Well, is that it? Are we good?
I think we covered a lot. We've been on for about an hour, so a little over that.
I got to take my Metamucil and take a couple prunes, go to bed.
Yeah, I I got to get a couple things done here still tonight and then get set up for tomorrow morning.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Let's see. Thursday, I think we have Ven Miller. You know Ven Miller?
I do. Yeah, we may be bringing one of his programs over to X American News too. I actually got to reach back out to him.
So for those of you who don't know Ven Miller, you know that there was 2 people that attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Then there was a third that the media said he was intent on assassinating Donald Trump. And there was a story that came out in Newsweek this week about it, and he's a hardcore Republican Trumper. So you guys will hear the whole story on Thursday on Behind Enemy Lines. So if you want to hear about it, just watch us Thursday night, 7:00, Behind Enemy Lines.
Tune in this Thursday for a special show with Ven Miller right here on Behind Enemy Lines on X American News. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. And Terry will be right back with you on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.